Hi, friends, both old and new. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Denitza Rave, and I am the owner of Ray Financial Services, LLC. I have been in the finance and accounting industry for over 17 years, and I have been an entrepreneur for 12. Just a little bit about me. I am a tax strategist and a financial and credit coach. My ultimate goal is to educate others in my specific fields so that way they can have better lives for themselves and their family. So that is my main goal for everybody. So with that said, with the way everything is today, has your financial situation changed recently? With the inflation, with the increased interest rates and food prices? Are you finding it harder to choose between your bills and, feeding and providing housing for your family? Well, I just wanted to come on and make sure you know that you are definitely not alone. There's so many of us in this situation right now. And I want you to know that there's absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. It's life, it happens, it's a season, and we will get through it, okay? So today, I will be talking about something called the four walls, and this method was actually created by Dave Ramsey. This method or guide, if you will help is going to teach you and like help you prioritize and make it easier to pay your bills while you're struggling if you are. That feeling when you feel stretched so thin and you feel like you're going to break because you're that rubber band and you're right at the end. Well, this method and this video that I'm making is meant to teach and give you all some hope and just some inspiration while facing this tough and trying period. Especially, like I said, with inflation happening. Never feel alone. I don't want any of you to ever feel alone. I don't want you to ever feel worthless or unworthy. You are definitely worth more than you know, and you are never, ever alone. Yes, I have been in this situation a few times in my life for various reasons because, life happens. However, I don't allow myself to be a victim of circumstance. And yes, I know it's definitely very, very easy to fall into that dark emotional well of victimhood, of sadness, of depression, because financially, nothing is going well. But you're not alone. Many people have been there. And I want you to guys to keep a statistic in mind that currently 78% of Americans are actually living paycheck to paycheck. And it's getting worse. So, again, I want to reiterate you are not alone. So, what I want you to do, because we're going to go ahead and get into the podcast now, is I want you to grab your cup of coffee or your cup of tea. I have my cup of coffee here. I want you to sit back, get comfy, take a deep breath with me, and let it out slowly. You're going to feel yourself relax and de stress, and you're going to tell yourself this affirmation. You don't have to, but this is an affirmation that helps me. My situation will not last forever. My situation is temporary, and I am getting my life back in control. And I know I will be one with financial peace and freedom. Okay, so just go ahead and repeat that to yourself over again and take a deep breath until you feel less stressed. So let's get your beverage. I'm going to take a drink right now and listen while I explain the four walls. I do hope and pray that you guys find some comfort in this process. In fact, I know you will, especially when you start it and you start working it for yourself, in your specific situation. Okay. So the four walls are going to be food, shelter and utilities, transportation, and basic clothing. Yes, I said basic clothing, no Louis Vuitton or Ann Taylor at this point, okay? So the first wall that I am going to be talking about is food, okay? So when I say food, This should be groceries only, not takeout, not restaurants or anything of that nature. Just groceries, just your staples. Okay. You need to become aware and realize that right now you're in crisis mode. You're like literally in survival mode, and spending money on takeout or going to restaurants or paying for premium services and their service fees and tips like DoorDash or Instacart or what have you is not helping your situation. Realize at this time, it's not forever. You just simply can't afford this luxury. Okay. And you're not alone in this. So many people do it. My family and I have done it. I remember at one point, my husband and I were looking through our bank statements because we're like, where is our money? Where is it going? And so we started doing the calculations. And unfortunately, we came to realize that, my God, we are spending so much money on takeout, on going to restaurants. So we've started to nip that in the bud. We were spending, a family of 5, you easily can spend 40 to $60 every time you go out, right? So we were spending 1,000, 2,000, maybe sometimes even $3,000 a month just on takeout, and it's not worth it. So remember, right now, I mean, if you want to do that later on when you are definitely financially stable, not in that extreme, you don't want to spend that much, that's fine. But you have to realize, again, at this time, you are in survival mode. You just cannot afford this luxury. And honestly, that's what that is. Restaurants are a luxury. So you don't have to eat out. DoorDash is a luxury. So you don't have to go get your food, it comes to you. Instacart, it's a luxury that you don't have to go out and buy your groceries. I mean, unless you have no choice and you're handicapped or you're elderly. But for the majority of us, we do it because it's just easier. It's more convenient. So that's why I mean it's luxury. So, and to go further, um, you need just to cover the basic food staples and needs, okay? Not your wants, to get by. And you need to do so as economically as possible. And honestly, we've started this too. If it means store brands, I know cringe. People are just like, ew, store brands gross. But you know what? At this time, you may have to do store brands because I don't know if you've seen the price of cereal lately. I mean, cereal alone, just name brand is, at least in California, it's creeping up like $6, $7. I mean, even the store brand though, the store brand can cost you $4. So just start shopping store brands. I mean, unless you have coupons or digital, paper coupons, digital coupons, what have you, and it ends up being cheaper than store brands, then definitely do it that way. Most economical in the way, it saves more money. But chances are you're always going to save the most using store brands. So, and again, store brands aren't your thing. It's just temporary. Okay. And another thing for all the people out there that like organic food, you may want to just, if your diet allows, to just hang off of that organic food right now. Just use the regular fruits, the regular vegetables, um, at least for the time being, until you can catch up with everything, until you can get some sort of a savings, okay? Because it's just you just need to be very strict right now. So that was the first wall. The second wall is shelter and utilities. Okay. So you're going to pay your first month mortgage or rent, okay, and utilities first. That always comes first. Your second mortgage payment can't be foreclosed on right now. So don't worry about that. Make that first mortgage or rent payment. You don't want to be evicted. You don't want to get a foreclosure. Okay. Um, Remember again that you are still in crisis or survival mode at this time. I know a lot of us who have home mortgages, we like to pay a little extra every month to try to get the interest and the principal down. But you know what? Right now, you just can't. Until you're financially able to, you can't. You just need to pay the basic, okay? Just your monthly payment. Also, focus just on immediate necessities. You don't have extra money for anything else, okay? So just remember that. Our third wall is transportation. Okay. This is obviously important to have and you need it so you can, protect yourself and you need to get back and forth to work and school. But if you recently lost your car, find a carpool buddy, chip in for gas, it'll still save you money. Do van pool, ride share, or even I know cringe again, but even public transportation if you have to. And by public transportation, I don't mean an Uber because again, premium price is premium service, right? I mean take a everyday plain old taxi cab or a bus if you have to. Okay, because you need to protect, obviously, your income as well. Do you have a second car that you're not using for one reason or another? And it's just kind of sitting there collecting dust, or you bought that second car just because you wanted to have a second car, but yet you're not really using it? Sell it. Why are you keeping it? Especially when you are in this situation. Okay. If you're not using it, you don't need it. Um, you can sell it and then you can use the proceeds or money that you receive from the sale to help you pay for your basic necessities that you might need right now. I mean, that sale could help pay for your mortgage. It'll help pay for clothes or electricity because everything is so expensive. So, again, this is temporary. You just need the money. You can always get that second car later. Okay. If you have a primary car, so one car, just make sure you're always keeping that car up, always keep it maintained enough to get you where you need to go. It gets you from point A to point B and back again. Okay, so keep up with your like transmission fluids and your oil changes and all of that good stuff. Don't run it into the ground by not keeping it maintained. The fourth wall is clothing. Okay, you guys aren't going to like this, but you don't need to buy the fancy schmancy clothing brands right now. We don't need Ann Taylor. We don't need Louis Vuitton purses or shoes or anything like that right now. Remember, you're in crisis mode, okay? You're in survival. You just need money. Um you just need to stay away from the mall if you can help it, right? Don't get tempted by those expensive brands, by those expensive stores. For now, I know some of you aren't going to like this, but you need to go to stores like Target or Walmart or discount stores like Ross and Marshalls to save the money. Okay. I mean, even at Ross and Marshalls, sometimes you can find name brand there for really cheap. Um, and even like a thrift store or something, you can find some amazing brand new finds there that are name brand. So I know I'm sure a lot of you are cringing about that, but it's a solution, temporary solution for a temporary problem, right? So going back, so don't be above taking gently used clothing for yourself and for your children from any family and friends they're offering. Don't be so prideful. Just take it. They're helping you. And I can pretty much guarantee that they've been where you are right now, whether they disclose it to you or not. I mean, even those relatives that you see that may have lots and lots and lots of money, I can guarantee they didn't always have all that money. They had to work for it. They had to sacrifice. And I'm sure they had seasons just like the one that, we're all going through right now. Remember, again, I'm going to reiterate it. Once you're out of survival mode, then you can wear your uber stylish clothes, okay? Just focus on the process for now. You just want to get the process done and down so that way you're not in this financial uh bind anymore, okay? And when you're financially able to, guess what? You can buy your nice stuff again, okay? As long as you don't go crazy and get into the same situation. You got to be careful. Okay, you need to get out of that survival mode and you need to have a way to get out of that survival mode. Okay. And you need to have a game plan to have those four walls covered. And I bet you guys know what I'm getting at, right? I am talking about the B word, budget. I know. I can hear it. Denitza, I hate budgets. They make me stressed out. They make me feel claustrophobic. It- you know, well, I get it. Everyone, even the ultra rich, has to have a budget, right? Um, no one has countless amounts of money. And the way rich people keep their money, or people that are well off keep their money, is by following a budget, right? They don't just spend willy nilly here and there. You have to have a budget. And without that budget, remember, you have zero control of your money. And that's how we get ourselves into these unfortunate messes. You need to tell your money where it goes. Okay. Remember that you are the boss. Money should never, ever tell you where it's going. You are in control. Money is not in control. So you need to get on that budget and rein that spending in. Okay. Remember, your budget is fluid. Okay. It changes, it's constantly changing from one month to the next. Um, what you set for your budget this month may be totally different from what you're going to budget next month. Okay. So just remember that it's fluid. It goes back and forth, you know, um, so just keep that in mind. So knowing that it's fluid makes it a little bit of fun, right? Make to know about budgeting and how it can change, and it's not just so confining. You need to make sure when your money comes in, you need to spend every single penny that comes in at the end of every month before the following month begins. Okay. Why? You might be asking. Because it will show you exactly where your money's going and where it's being spent. Now, you also have to think about the following months. Okay. So, say you had $200 left over still from the current month, and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to scooch and not spend that $200 and let it just roll into my checking account. Okay. Well, that's good. But the thing is, you might eventually end up in trouble because what happens if you get sick or something and you don't get paid the same amount? And so you have that extra $200. Yeah, you use it. And then the following month, you're short like $500 because you were sick, and you're overdrawn in your account. And you're like, what happened? And then you realize, oh my gosh, I forwarded the money to the following months. So you want to be careful of that. Don't do that. Just spend every single penny. If you have something left over, that's awesome. Put it in a savings account. Okay. Don't let it flow into the next month. Put it in a savings or an interest bearing account. Make that money work for you. Okay. You also need to make sure that you're keeping a record on what you spend your money on. You need to keep a record of where you spent it and why you spent it. Okay. So, this will help you identify exactly where your money is going. It can also help you identify why you're spending this money. Am I spending the money because I really needed it? Am I spending the money because maybe I'm depressed and I needed some like retail therapy to make me feel better? So you always need to make sure you write that down, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and give you an example now of the way that of how the four walls should work, okay? One second. So these numbers, they're pretty right on. Maybe there's a mathematical error somewhere. Maybe I don't know. I was just doing this as like an example, but everything should be pretty accurate. Um, So, we're going to be talking about the Jones family, okay? And they live in California. Their income, their income is $60,000, which currently, according to the U.S. Census, is the median income in California, or at least Southern California. $60,000 a year. So after taxes and other deductions, their monthly, I'm sorry, not their monthly, their annual income ends up being 46,347, but for the sake of easy quick math, I'm just going to say $47,000, okay? Yes, there's about what $14,000 of taxes that they pay. It's insane. So here's their expenses before the wall method. And if you are taking notes, I want you to write this down just so you have a sample of how it works. I'll go ahead and give you a minute so you can grab a piece of paper and a pen. Okay. So the Joneses, okay, so their monthly income is $3,800. Their monthly expenses, $4,900. Okay, so you can tell where we're going, right? They're already in the red. So here's the list of current expenses. Now, I did set the mortgage at $1,200, which I know is probably laughable. You're saying because it's California, but I just wanted to keep it easy. So $1,200 for the mortgage, and then utilities, including internet, is $650. Okay. They have three credit cards. We'll say American Express, Master, and Visa. The minimum payments total $550. Okay. They have gym memberships for $85 a month. They have their cell phone bill at $140 a month. They they spend $700 a month on food. Now that means food like groceries, not eating out. And they spend $400 a month on clothing. Okay. They have two car payments totaling $950. They have gas and insurance, about $700. They, in addition to the food at home, they spend $400 a month on outside food, such as takeout and restaurants. And then they have dance lessons for their daughter at $74 a month. So you add all of that up and you can see that they're in the red, their deficit $1,100. Okay. So they realize that and they're like, oh my gosh, what are we doing? So now they're using the four wall method that I told them to use. And they're going to go ahead and remember to always pay the mortgage or rent and utilities first and foremost, especially when you're in crisis mode, because you need to make sure you have a place to live and you need to make sure that you have heat, air, whatever the season is, whatever you need. Okay. So they're automatically out of their $3,800 income. They're paying the $1,200 mortgage payment and then they're paying the utilities of $650. Okay. Now they're like, well, where can we cut expenses? Can we cut expenses? So they sat down and they started doing their little budgeting. So instead of spending $700 for food, they're going to set aside $550 for food. Okay. By food, again, I'm meaning groceries, staples. They decided to be economical. Okay. And buy store brand, use coupons, use digital coupons, those reward apps where you scan your receipts, just to help save the money. Okay. They sold their car that they were hardly using. So now they're down to the one car. They sold their second car. So that dropped their payment in half a month. So now instead of paying $950 a month, they're only paying $475 a month. And because of that, their insurance and their gas went down from, I think it was $700 down to $400. Okay. They cut their clothing expenses to $150 a month. So they decided to make their clothes last a little longer for now and just buy the generic basics, buy the Walmart and the Target and the Ross and all that. Okay. They decided to keep their cell phones as is. So that's still $140 a month. But they decided to just cancel their gym of $85 a month. Okay. They figured, well, we can walk around the neighborhood for free. And we have our HOA provides like gym access in their little clubhouse. So might as well use that since they pay for it monthly anyway. So that's going to save them $85 a month there. They eliminated eating out of the home. So that's $400 saved. They only eat in now. And they unfortunately eliminated the dance lessons for their daughter. which was $74. But we all have to make sacrifices at this time. So now let's see what it looks like after they did the four walls. Okay, their income still $3,800 a month. Their expenses now $3,465. So just to make it easy, $3,500. Okay. So they have a surplus of $335 to figure out for their credit cards. Okay. I know it's not enough to pay those minimum balances because I believe they had $550, but at least they have enough to send something into the creditors at this point. Okay. As a credit counselor, I'm not going to get really into credit here, but as a credit counselor, I want to advise to always call your creditors if you're not going to be able to make an entire payment or a payment at all. Okay, they won't be happy. They're going to try to threaten you. They're going to say your credit's going to get dinged and messed up. Don't let them take control. Do not let them control you. That's their job, to control and intimidate. You take care of yourself. You take care of your family. The creditors don't care. Okay. So I never recommend going that route and not making your full payments, because I don't like it when I see people's, credits get messed up. But once in a while, especially when you're in the survival mode, okay, you have to sacrifice something to keep roof, food, and utilities on and over you and your family's head when you're in a financial crisis. Okay. Uh and then you can always revisit your credit card situation and your credit score once you're all caught up and you're out of that survival mode. Again and again, I only say this if you are in that dire of circumstances, okay, where you cannot make those minimum payments. So once you're out of this predicament, I want you to vow to yourself to never be there again, even if it means trying getting having to sell some of your stuff, or getting a second job or doing gig work. Okay, you don't want to ever go to this desolate spot again. Unfortunately, living beyond our means to like save face or keep up with the Joneses, not our Joneses right now, but the hypothetical Joneses that everyone says. Unfortunately, that is considered normal in today's society, which is very unfortunate. You don't want to keep up with the Joneses or the Smiths or, the Johnsons or what have you. You don't want to do that. Okay, I'm asking you to do something super duper weird. Okay, I mean, what's normal anyway? So get weird and stop. Stop living beyond your means. Okay, I promise. Once you get out of that mindset, and that's exactly what it is, I want you to realize that it's what it is. It's a mindset. You will live a much better life. So get weird. Okay, don't live beyond your means. Live nice. And pretty soon, guess what? You might see your friends, you might see your families, heck, you might see strangers or a neighbor trying to keep up with you being weird and doing what you did, okay, to help yourself out of your situation. So chin up. You got this. I'm definitely in your corner rooting for you. I believe in you. And again, before we go, I want to just do our relaxation and affirmation exercise once more. So I want you to take a deep breath with me and let it out slowly. I want you to feel yourself relax, de stress. Okay. I want you to tell yourself, my crisis will not last forever. My situation is temporary, and I am getting my life back in control. And I know that I will be one with financial peace and freedom. Okay. So do that as much as you want to throughout the day. Okay. It'll help you feel better. It really will. You don't have to say the affirmation, but if you want to, it will definitely help. It helps uplift your mind. Okay. It helps you get out of that negative, sad, depressed void that financial issues can put you in. Okay. And like I said before, I know we've been there in my family. So you're not alone. This is a normal thing, unfortunately. Um, so I really enjoyed speaking with everyone today, and I hope you enjoyed it too and you got something out of it. I'm sure you did. Feel free to share your feelings and your comments, in the comment section. Uh, don't forget to like and share and follow me on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. My YouTube is Rave Financial Services LLC. My Facebook is Rave Financial Services. And my Instagram is just like YouTube, Rave Financial Services LLC. And I also have a free private Facebook group that you can join to learn about more financial stuff, tax information, credit education. Because again, I'm all about trying to educate everybody. And it's free and it's private. Okay. And that group, it's credit, tax, and financial services. It's all together. Okay. Credit, tax, and financial services. You'll just have to answer a few questions to be let in, just so I know that whoever is trying to come in is not like a bot. So definitely feel free to check that out. If you want to set up an appointment with me virtually for taxes or credit counseling or financial coaching, definitely do so. Visit my website at rave, RAVE, financialservices.com. Once you're there on the homepage, you'll just click on book online. And from there, you can choose the date you want. No, that's available, the time, and we will receive notification of your request. We will respond back to you within 24 hours and meet up for our Zoom meeting. So thank you so much again. I had a lot of fun and I cannot wait to speak to everybody again. In the meantime, take care of yourself.